Hello and welcome back to our Vlandian night, and, well, we have some rather wonderful things going on here. So, in the previous episode, we took Balnerlord from the KHUZAIT, and we are pushing our advantage pretty viciously right here, and that is exactly what they expect us to do, of course. And they actually appeared out of nowhere with another army who has been formed by Tulag himself, and personally, I'm pretty happy with what we've got going on here. You may notice, maybe you won't, but maybe you will. Anyway, I have 2 less vassals in my army at the moment. There's a reason for that. I actually let 2 of them go. Well, technically I kicked them out of the army for a very specific reason. Don't know whether you've noticed this, but whenever a vassal party leaves a larger army, they gain some kind of speed boost, and as a result they are able to very quickly shoot at the opponent, and they can indeed engage them. And obviously if we have an overwhelming advantage like we do right now with 1900 units, then it's going to very easily be able to give us an engagement, because let's face it, the slow large army is never going to catch someone that has less numbers, and as a result it's basically going to be impossible to get into a battle with those people. However, when you release those vassals, release a couple of them, I would recommend not just 2, because it might very well be the case that they will indeed end up hesitating. And that's what happened to me, actually. I had some people hesitate, and as a result, we actually had a bit of a delay in being able to get into a battle with this enemy army. But if you release more of them, and I'm talking about maybe, I think maybe 6-7 vassals from your army, then you're more than likely going to get a pretty decent result from that. You're probably going to get an engagement almost immediately, because they're going to have the confidence surrounded by a number of other vassals to be able to do what they need to do to engage the opponent. So that's a little bit of a tip there. If you are the leader of an army, then release some of your vassals sometimes just to pursue an enemy army that is maybe a little bit out of your grasp, a little bit out of reach. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about here. And maybe it will work for you. Maybe it will work quite nicely for you. Do bear in mind, however, that sometimes people are going to be a little bit hesitant, as I said, and so you need to make sure that they are surrounded by as many units as you can. But of course, some of the time this is not going to work, because they will literally just say no, and they will be hesitant no matter what. It is literally down to a variety of different factors. How many people are surrounding them, how many people are enemies and allies, and what kind of army composition they have themselves. Because if they have an army composition that is diminished and weak in terms of combat strength, they will probably be not very happy about the situation. So that's definitely something to bear in mind as well. Anyway, we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well here. I mean, as you would, we are, of course, going to do pretty well. Unfortunately, I think I'm dead here, though, because once again, my horse got killed. I think I might need to get a new horse. What do you think? I should probably get a new horse, right? Anyway, I'm going to go towards my forces. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, yes, they seem to be actually pretty close by. This is good. Let me mount this Sturgeon Trotter. It's definitely not going to be super fast or anything, but I think it's going to be decent for me to use, at least for the remainder of this battle. Should be pretty simple. Although, oh, that's a nice horse. That's another nice one. Hello. Can I maybe ride you instead? Oh, it's a steppe warhorse. Oh, it's full HP. Very nice. Okay, I like this. Very good. Okay, so now let me see if I can maybe just do a little bit of damage here. Got to be a bit careful of the spearmen. As we've seen, they are still pretty damaging no matter what. Even if the opponent is outnumbered significantly, it doesn't really matter to them. They're still going to be just as effective as they always are. So you need to be very cautious. And I believe that is going to be a victory for us. Fantastic. Yeah, as I say, wish I could kind of speed it up a little bit. I'm not entirely sure how I can do that. Probably not. Anyway, let's get one of these and one of the sturgeons as well. It's going to be pretty nice for us. And let's move on. You know, it's actually a pretty viable strategy to go like this, where you go into the... Oh dear, we have a bit of a food situation. Oh, well, never mind. Just ignore that for the moment. Just ignore that. We still have 46 days remaining, but we are going to eat through that very, very fast with an army of such a massive size. Anyway, as I was saying, this is a pretty viable strategy if you are not really that confident in your own abilities to go into the siege itself. Basically, what you can do is you can get some high damage, pretty fast firing siege equipment. So maybe not trebuchets, maybe something like onagers or something like that. And then you can basically just camp outside. As long as the walls are destroyed, you can camp outside. You can have your onagers fire at every single catapult or every single, ballista that appears. And then you can literally whittle down the enemy defenders until you either have enough to be able to send in the troops by yourself, so you're not going in, or you can, just go and lead the assault yourself. Someone actually mentioned that it would be kind of cool to see a nighttime battle with some fire onagers, and I thought to myself, okay, why not? Let's try that out and see how it goes, because we've barely done any of that, because generally I tend not to really do nighttime battles, because it's kind of hard for you to see, it's kind of hard for me to see, but generally it's just kind of difficult to see what's actually happening. But we're gonna hope that maybe the fire from the onagers will be illuminating things quite nicely. Actually, wait a minute. Can I? Yes, I think I did this wrong, because now I have the trebuchets up here, and I could have sorted that out actually. Okay, my bad. I actually forgot that I had some trebuchets. And as a result, I actually thought that what they would do is they would literally just put the onagers out, because I had the onagers out already. I didn't think that they would substitute them for the onagers, so I didn't think that the trebuchets would come back out because they were in reserve. So that's a bit weird to me. But what you can do is obviously on that setup screen, you can change that around. And I haven't had that much experience with that, so I guess that's the reason I forgot. Yes, great. Lovely. Well, never mind. We should be able to take this relatively easily. By the way, the KHUZAIT have practically been begging me to make peace with them, and I think we should push the advantage, don't you? I think we should push the advantage so much that the KHUZAIT don't even know what's happening. They should not even know what's happening at this point. We should literally just continue pushing them as much as we possibly can. And obviously, now here's the thing. I would love to continue the push, but I can't, because as you could no doubt tell, just before we entered this siege, we have a bit of an issue with food. So what I'm going to have to do is let a pretty significant amount of people go. Going to have to resupply my own foodstuffs, and then I will hopefully be able to call for another army and then head forward into KHUZAIT territory once again, which is not really going to be that bad because we have so many towns available to us that I should have a pretty easy time finding an abundance of food, pretty much. Hopefully an abundance of food at least, but if not, then I will just have to venture a little bit further afield. I think most people are at war against us as it is, so obviously there is that. Oh yeah, by the way, thank you for your brain waves or your mind waves, psychic energy, whatever you want to call it. In the end of the previous episode, you actually did remind me that I needed to increase my party capacity, and I did that. So we now have a maximum party capacity of 24. I didn't work it out by any means whatsoever, I just randomly increased it somehow, and we now have 24 maximum parties available. So that's really cool, because that means that I will be able to make a whole bunch of extra parties out of our companions, and then we're going to be able to see them running around and doing wonderful, cool things. And I actually don't know if I don't know whether they're really going to be that effective, but from what I've seen so far, the companions that I've already made into party leaders are actually really effective so far. So that's actually kind of amazing. I was not expecting anything, to be honest. I was really expecting nothing at all. I was expecting them to get completely murdered by bandits almost every minute or so. But no, they're actually doing something good, which is very surprising, as I say. Anyway, I'm going to just take some Sturgeon horse units because, variety. I think it might be quite fun. And otherwise, there you go. I've actually, by the way, just realized that our clan tier is already at 6. So I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking, because I said that beforehand. I'm not entirely sure when I was going to reach clan level 6, but we are already clan level 6. So that is pretty cool. So we don't really need to worry about that any further. So otherwise, what I'd like to do is potentially attack this army to try and weaken them before we have any additional issues. As you can see right here, the daily consumption is just so significant. We are going to do something kind of interesting here. Now, I'm going to try and show you, or maybe demonstrate, how the speed boost of the Lords actually works. Okay, so we've actually leveled up as well, so this is really nice, because I think I'll probably, as I said before, I'll probably level up one-handed weapon proficiency, and I don't even know what to do with my other statistics right now. I know a couple of people have suggested to me that maybe I should start using a crossbow, or start using a bow of some kind, or whatever, and yeah, that's the thing. Is it too late? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, we're going to have such terrible accuracy that it's just going to be a frustrating experience for you and a frustrating experience for me. So I'm not entirely sure if it's even worth me doing anything here, to be honest. I don't really know. Oh yeah, someone also mentioned that, what is it now? Something is not working here, but you don't have to worry. I do have community patch installed, so most of the traits are working. So that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, I think I'll go for social. So my leadership can level up even further. Oh, even though that's actually not even necessary. Oh well, never mind. I mean, I could reset. You know what? I'm gonna reset them, because I would like to actually get cunning instead, because tactics 275 is just so much better than any of the additional things from leadership now, because this is good. I think that this is a good trait, but these two traits are basically filler traits in my opinion. I don't think they're that good. But yeah, anyway, we're going to be doing a little bit of a strategy here. Maybe, oh, someone actually did get captured. Are you serious? Oh. Well, that's kind of sad, but oh well, never mind. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this thing where we just let, I'm going to say about six of them go, and now we're going to see, look at this, go, get them. See, now this is the point. I think I maybe didn't have enough. Yeah, as you can see right there. I did not have enough vassals being released to actually make that work. But let me see if I disband the entire army. How's that going to work? Maybe we'll be able to get him then? Yes, there you go. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Do you see how insane that speed boost is? Because we basically have the exact same amount of units joining our battle here, but it's just that much quicker to engage. So basically, this is the way that we should do things in future. Anytime we have a larger army, oh wow, this is for some reason giving me some frame rate issues. Not entirely sure. Oh, yes, it's because oh dear. Oh, it's because all those guys have spawned up there, and oh yeah, okay. It is a very small battlefield. Anyway, as I was saying, I think what we're going to do in the future is we're probably going to have a situation where if there is a large army that we need to catch up to, then I'm probably going to try and get a nice nice disband speed boost or something like that. I'm gonna try and do that and get the individual vassals into the battle and then go from there. because I think that is just going to be insanely effective, really, really effective. I don't know whether you've noticed the speed boost in other series that I've created, but it has happened before to me, actually. Someone ended up using this strategy against me and getting me into a battle that I did not want to be in, and they did a good job. They did a very good job at it. So yeah, that's definitely something that I think might need a bit of... I actually don't know. Is it balanced? I don't think so, because you're going to be disorganized, aren't you? Aren't you going to be disorganized when you go out of an army, theoretically? Maybe. It really depends. So it might very well be that the developers will add a disorganized state or something along those lines to the friendly vassals, because I don't believe it happens to you. That's the thing. You, as the player, do not gain any kind of speed bonus from leaving an army. So, for example, if you join... Let's say you join Regea's army from the Southern Empire, for example, and you're going to try to run interference between you and the opponent and Regea's army, of course. And you want to try and attack someone. So let's say you want to try and attack an army that is relatively similar to your size, but you're faster than them. You know that you know that you're faster because you have good scouting skill or whatever. And you exit the army, and then immediately you have disorganized status. And as a result, you're slower than normal. So that's the reason why I feel like the AI should also obviously abide by the same kind of laws that the player does. Which obviously brings me to the whole economic problem that we had in previous episodes, but that is a discussion for another time, because we've already expanded on that multiple times, and you know my thoughts on it at the very least. Oh, get him! 4 damage. Wow, I can't believe I broke my record of 4 damage. That's wonderful. Oh, what a great thing that I'm able to do. Oh yes, lovely. Anyway, let's tell my archers to charge in and see if we can maybe just murder everything in sight. Thankfully, these are just Sturgians. Hilariously enough, I say just Sturgians, but Sturgians are not that bad, but for some reason, they continually get themselves picked on, almost all the time. Every single game that I've had, the Sturgians have been eliminated without any, with impunity, shall we say, with impunity. They just literally get destroyed in every single way, and I have no idea why that is, because I've looked at some of their units, and yes, okay, they might be a little lightly armored in some parts, and they might run around with less good armor than most of the other factions, but I personally don't think it's that bad. I feel like they should stay alive much longer, but it could also be a case of geography. They might be in just a bad location, because they are caught between... Well, who are they caught between again? They're caught between the KHUZAIT, which are obviously a faction you don't really want to be that close to. So you're caught between the KHUZAIT and the Batanians? Yeah, I think. No, wait, not the Batanians. Probably the Northern Empire, right? Yeah, I think the Northern Empire is probably the faction that is the closest to them. But anyway, let's just speed things up a little bit here. Oh my army looks so incredibly impressive like this. Really intimidating, especially when they're going in a single file to chase after the one guy. Yes, very effective indeed. It seems like we just got brothers to join us. Oh, that's fantastic. Very nice indeed. All right, so we did lose 76, but as I've said before, that's not a big deal. That is not a big deal at all. Thank you very much. And we did gain some relation as well. This is also something that you want to consider when you're using the speed boost tactic, where you disband people and then they engage. You're actually going to be getting a significant amount of relation as a result of this, because you're technically, quote unquote, helping your vassal, even though you've been the one to release them upon the opponent. So it's really quite cool, isn't it? It's really quite cool. It gives you a whole bunch of different benefits, and I don't see any drawbacks whatsoever to it. The only drawback, I suppose, is if you wanted to continue besieging things and you had a pretty significant, and you still had a pretty significant army, then you, a significant supplies, shall we say, more than army, But let's say you had that, it would be very, should we say, difficult to make that work. But it would also only cost you influence, you see. So generally, you're going to be fine, you know? You're going to be fine in almost every aspect. So it's pretty crazy. Anyway, I really don't have any space for any of these things. So I will just be leaving them all to the other vassals in our vicinity. And they can just take them if they want to. I'm sure they will. Otherwise, owner of Sibir should be decided. Yorig is going to get it. Very nice. It's returning to the Sturgians. Because Yorig is, of course, an ex-Sturgian vassal. Very good. All right, so let's actually just take a quick look at what we've done here. So look at this. We have very quickly proceeded through, and this is giving us another avenue of attack to the KHUZAIT as well, which I'm very much looking forward to. And what else do we have here? Omor is obviously going to be extremely easy for us to take. Super, super little amounts of defenders. I'd like to see how much they have in Tile, actually, so I'm going to go over there myself, because obviously I'm not running around with a huge amount of people anymore, so I have 40 days worth of food, and I know for certain that I have 40 days worth of food, so that's not too bad. Although we are having to slaughter some animals for that, and I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. I would much prefer to be eating things that we have prepared already, because those animals are basically a last resort, pretty much. Okay, oh, they have nothing? Okay, this is perfect as well. Okay, this is fantastic. So what I'm going to continue doing, in my off-screen time, I'm going to go and get some food. I'm going to try to get about 150 days worth of food. Going to sell some stuff. Going to sell all the loot that I've acquired in the brief time that we've been having that army under our command. And then we're going to be coming back up here. We will probably try to take Omor, and then we will take together Tile. I will take Omor by myself because you've already seen that siege and you don't really want to see it again, I doubt. And otherwise, Tile is going to be our next target in the next episode. So I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.